In today's video, I'm going to show you how ClickUp can completely replace emails, Slack, and Teams. It's become the one-stop shop for your team's communication thanks to ClickUp Chat. Now, ClickUp Chat has been around for a few months, and I thought it was time to demo it. I feel like it's a little bit more stable and offers a bunch of cool features. So I think it's time I showcase this feature of ClickUp. Now, if you don't know me already and you're discovering me with this video, my name is Ramzi and I founded Upsys. We're an agency that helps companies create more solid systems so that it can operate faster and more efficiently, thanks to a project software called ClickUp, but also automations and AI agents. Now, we started setting up ClickUp Chat for our clients and setting up the right channels and stuff like that. And we've even migrated clients from Slack to ClickUp Chat, which is not possible anymore natively because Slack has blocked that part. ClickUp used to offer an importer from Slack to ClickUp, but don't worry about that. If you're on ClickUp and you're thinking of migrating from Slack to ClickUp Chat, it's still possible thanks to external automation, and that's what we do for clients. So if you're interested about Slack to ClickUp Chat or Teams to ClickUp Chat migrations, feel free to book a discovery call with us and we can go through that and help you on ClickUp in general. Now, with that said, let's get started with a full demo of ClickUp Chat. Once you're on ClickUp, you might have different user interfaces. And I'm gonna do this demo on the latest ClickUp UI, which is ClickUp 4.0. And the ClickUp Chat layout is quite different between the ClickUp UI in here and the one you might have seen before, which is here, where you have clients in here, and then where you have your hierarchy on the left side and the chat integration on the right side in its own layout. So here you have replies, posts, and follow-ups, and activity, and things like that. You don't have that layout anymore in 4.0, and I'm gonna give you the tour in 4.0 because I think that's what they will stick with, and they're slowly migrating clients to this 4.0 interface, but I'll still show you how it looks like in ClickUp 3.0. All right, we're back in ClickUp 4.0, and the first thing we're gonna do is go on the top left here and click Apps in here. So you wanna go to Apps and turn on the ClickUp Chat Click App. So you're gonna go to all Click Apps, and in here, we're gonna look up for ClickUp Chat. It should be available here. Let me just try Chat, and we have it here. So let's turn it on. Chat is on, and what will appear is these two sections, channels and direct messages. You might see them below your spaces. You can always reorganize that in the new ClickUp UI. You can reorder your sections. So if you want to display your direct messages here on top and your channels here above, it's also possible. You can even create your own sections and put like a chat channel with a list or things like that, but it's a little bit more advanced and we don't need it for now. Let's put direct messages here and channels above. What we have here first is direct messages. If I want to talk with someone from my team or just like leave only a few people, I can. So say I want to send a message to April, I can do it here and say, "Hi, April. Here is your latest task." And what I can do is mention a task like in any other place, like in the comment section in ClickUp, for example. So you can mention a task, look it up, and maybe add this one, take Pro Instagram teaser, and she has to work on that. She knows that, but I'm putting it here maybe because of the urgency and I need her to handle it pretty quickly. So that's one way to communicate in ClickUp Chat. It's pretty straightforward. It's direct messages. You can even have a direct sync up with a person. So if I go here, there's a little phone call icon and I can click here and click sync up, and she will be prompted with notification to join the call. Hopefully she's not working right now. And I can even share my screen with her or record something for her if she's not joining. And we can like either directly chat like a Zoom call or Google Meet, or I can just leave the sync up. And in that case, like the call is ended. So it's kind of a quick way to have a fast call. I think Slack offered that. I think Microsoft Teams offered that, obviously. So all chat tools offer this, and now ClickUp has integrated in their own tool. And what's cool is that if you use this feature, you can see the past recordings in here. They'll be recorded. And if you open that up, you'll even have like the transcript written. This is not a great example because I don't think I was speaking English this time. But here you'll have the transcript. Maybe we were talking about this topic and ClickUp will just use AI to transcribe this. All right, so back to my homepage. this is one way to chat in these direct messages. Now, second thing I can do is create channels. And the biggest piece of advice I'm giving you is not to create new channels. Only add existing channels. Why? Because ClickUp creates a new channel for every new list you have. All right, so I've just changed my spaces layout here. I've just hit a few, and I have a sales space and a video agency space. And in here, I have my channel area. So say I want to create a channel for the sales space. I'm gonna click Add Channel here on the top right in the space level next to the view. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna create a channel for that space. I can also do the same for the list. I can add a channel. And instead of adding a new channel here in the Add Channels and naming it Sales, for example, I could do that if I wanted, just create a random channel called Sales in here. I'm gonna use the existing sales channel of the space. I'm gonna click follow. And the first thing you wanna do is open up that channel and just put a first message. Anything can be hello, for example. That way it will display here, okay? So now say I'm working for clients for Greenlight Studios, for example. I wanna add a channel for them and Nexus Productions as well and Horizon Media as well. So I have 3 channels for my clients, and actually I didn't want that one. Let me add one just for Horizon Media. Perfect. And I have my sales channel here, but I also have new channels that I have just created by going to the folders for each of my clients in here and adding the channel, okay? Now, I told very often about how you should have clients as lists, but in this specific use case, sometimes it makes sense to have clients for folders. So it really depends on your use case. If you want like custom advice, you need to book a call with us and we can advise you on the best way to do it. Most of the time, a client as a list is good, but sometimes a client as a folder is needed. Now here, I have created my channels for each of my clients, and I'm not gonna focus on the hierarchy now. And I'm gonna add those in here. So if you wanna see them quickly, just go to the channel, go to the folder, and just say hello. And by just saying hello, the channel will pop up in your main channels here. So each time you interact with a channel, it will display it. And that's quite important because very often I have clients telling me, I can't find my channels, where are they? And I tell them, have you even left a first message in there? And just leaving a first message will display the channel. Now, once that's done, you have a few channels here, but I feel like it's not very organized and we can do better. What we could do is sort those channels in sections. So you could have a section, for example, for our clients and another section for internal topics. What you can do is create a new section. And you're gonna go here in the 3 dots and click Create Section. You're gonna name your section, for example, Client Channels, and click Create. And in there, I can add the client chats just by dragging and dropping them. That's one way to organize myself. And then I can add a new section by clicking the 3 dots, Create Section. And then this one, I'll call it Internal Chats, let's say. We could assume that, for example, we invited the clients to their folders and we can actually direct message them in here, and that's a way to handle it. If your clients are open to using ClickUp, that's one way I advise communicating with clients. I tell them like, stop using emails, just interact with them through tasks and the channel, and just invite them as a guest in ClickUp. Obviously, some clients are not very tech savvy, and that's one way to do it. But if your clients are less tech savvy, maybe you need to create like an automated email to ClickUp task system. I talk about that in another video. If you want, you can have a look. Email to ClickUp task is kind of a way to bridge the gap, but the most integrated way, and if your clients are open to it, is just to invite them to your channels and your folders or lists. Now, with that said, let's move on to the internal channels. So I've added my internal chat in here, and I can add a new one if I wanted to. So one general chat I recommend you to add is the whole workspace chat. So if you were to go to the everything view here, there's a channel that should be created for the whole Upsys demo workspace, which is the one we're in. And I can just display it here and just drag and drop it into my internal channel, same way. Here I can talk about sales and where are we on the sales. And in here, I can talk about general stuff, like for example, the fact Diane joined us. And then I could say like, add everyone at Diane joined us. And then I can just like add a GIF if I wanted to, and just say like, welcome, just add the GIF, cool, and click send. So that's one way to make an announcement. And now that person is in the channel, she's mentioned, but everyone's mentioned too. So everyone will have that channel being a little bit bolded out. If I were to go to her workspace, Diane, if we go to the inbox, we can see that I added her to the channel and she can see the channel in here. Now, everyone has to pin and add their channel and organize them the way they want. This organization is personal. So you can see Diane has a very different layout in here. So if she wanted to create like an internal section, she'd have to do it herself. My settings will not apply to hers. It's important you create a process on how to organize your ClickUp Chat. That's actually what we do at Upsys. When we set up ClickUp Chat and we're happy with the organization with the client, we record a full video, a full tour of how to use ClickUp Chat for that specific use case for your company and how to organize your channel so that each of your team members has the same organization and it's clean and clear for everyone. Now, if she wanted, Diane could reply in the thread and say, oh, hello, thanks for introducing me. And she'd post, and that created a threaded comment, kind of like in a ClickUp task. Now what will happen is that on my end, now in the Ramzi workspace, I can see her answer in here and I can just reply and just say thank you, for example, and attach a task or an item, assign something to someone. Maybe I could assign someone and tell her, can you like have a one-on-one with her, or can you onboard her or something? So as you can see, you can integrate your team members that are in ClickUp with your tasks, with your documents, with your direct communication, thanks to ClickUp Chat. It's become really, really useful and powerful. I find that way more useful than the channel view that was there before in ClickUp. It was not as clear and interactive. Now I'm going to give you the second advantage of having channels and integrating with ClickUp Chat. Because those channels are integrated in lists or spaces or folders, whenever we are in a channel, we can always click overview here and have an access to the overview that's in the space, or see the tasks of the space. So here we have a bunch of different tasks for that space. And if we go to a user, for example, we can see the tasks assigned to them by just moving from tab to tab. So as a manager, it's super cool to go to the user and just see what's assigned to them in here. And you can organize them by due date, add a filter and everything. And that's kind of like a view of that person's assigned task. So they can use it themselves. So I can even use my own assigned tasks in here. Or as a manager, you can just chat with them and see what's their workload this week. Now, this is a bad example of an organization. If I wanted to group them by batch, for example, and I talk about the batch method quite extensively in my videos. So if you don't know about the batch method that I've set up, you can have a look in my other videos. I can do that, and then I can just sort them out by batch if I wanted. And in here, I can see what April has to do this week versus the previous one, for example. And those may be like to do for April for this current week. So I can organize the workload for a person through the batch method, for example, straight in a ClickUp channel. And that's another big advantage of ClickUp channels versus how they were organized before. So you can chat, you can see the person's calendar, and you can see their assigned tasks. Now that's the basics of ClickUp Chat. If you want to go a little further, you can create automations in ClickUp Chat. I'm going to show you one first automation. Say every week you want to tell everyone in the whole workspace, please don't forget to fill in your timesheets. I've talked about timesheets. You can track time in ClickUp, and maybe every Friday at noon, you want to tell them, please fill in your timesheets, okay? Or every Friday at lunchtime or whatever. I can totally automate this. And to do so, I can go in any space. I can do it maybe in the video agency space, and then create a new automation. And in here, what I'm gonna do is say that every and weekly, maybe on a Friday, every Friday, okay, at 12, sounds good. Please leave a chat conversation, send a channel message in here and say, please fill in your timesheets. And you can even mention an SOP if you wanted to. So you could mention a document on how to fill in timesheets. That's how we do at Upsys. We organize everything in SOPs. Our own agency is organized in SOPs. You can organize your own SOPs and then say, please fill in your timesheets. Mention the SOP on how to fill in the timesheet in case someone new joined or someone forgot how to. And then every Friday, it'll post that into whichever channel you want. So in this case, I want to post it to the Upsys demo channel. And maybe I can even assign a person or run this action for every task. I want to keep it simple for now and I don't need to do that, but maybe eventually I can. So that's one way to automate ClickUp Chat, leaving a message at whichever frequency we want. Now let's talk about another level of automation. It's cool, you can automate sending messages on a recurring basis, maybe every Friday afternoon or something, asking people to do something. But you can also launch agents on chats. In an autopilot agent, if we go here to the top right or in chat context, we can ask the agent to answer questions. So say we're working on, I don't know, like let's say Horizon Media, and there's tasks to do, and we can ask maybe, tell me about the Fresh Bite restaurant story or something. So all you have to do is get into the internal chat, add an agent in the sales channel, for example, and turn on the answers agent. So whenever a message is posted, it'll answer the questions that you have in the chat. So instead of you messaging someone asking about something, the agent will look up the chat, the context, what happened, and it will answer on their behalf, for example. I'm going to click create and save. And in here, if I were to mention someone, just mention them and just say like, tell me about the Fresh Bite restaurant story. I'm going to click enter. And I'm just asking the question to someone in this channel, but the thing is, the agent is aware of the context, so they'll probably answer before that person. So that agent is just capable of looking up the answer and replying to my question. Another agent I can tell you about is the team stand-up. So we set custom team stand-ups for clients at Upsys. We've recently done that. I don't like the default prompt of ClickUp, but what you can do is customize it the way you want. And maybe every Sunday or every Monday morning, you can create a clear stand-up for you in the layout you want. So if you're a video production agency, you can see which video were edited this week. If you're a SMMA agency, you can see which ads creative were created this week for clients. And you can have clear views and stand-ups that pop up in your chat. So that's another use case. And I think it's answered. And in here, if I go to replies, I think I got an answer from an agent. Cool. So the Fresh Bite restaurant story is an 18-minute documentary video produced about Fresh Bite. Perfect. So you see, like the agent has just replied to my question in here. I see it in my replies notification, but I didn't even have to wait for my coworker to reply. The agent has just looked up the context and it's answered for me. Now, this shows you the potential and the power of ClickUp AI agents combined with ClickUp Chat. You can turn on the agents and that's cool, but that's not necessary. I recommend you to start simple by just setting the right channels in the right spaces. Don't create too many channels as with everything with ClickUp. Just create spaces and then folders and a list, first your hierarchy, and then create the right channels at the right levels. Maybe one channel per client and maybe one general channel and one sales channel and one delivery channel just per big group of team. But don't go into the details of creating channels that will stay empty. A channel has to be alive. It shouldn't be a complete desert where someone posts in every blue moon. So it should be active. You should have max maybe 2-3 internal channels and then maybe one channel per client to discuss of general topics. Now, one last aspect I want to talk to you about is what I mentioned earlier. The UI of ClickUp Chat is quite different in the previous version of ClickUp 3.0. But everything else pretty much the same, meaning the sidebar that's now integrated here below will appear here just to the side. So you'll have channels in here, you can have direct messages, you can do anything the same way, and you can just like create sections as well. It's just to tell you that everything I've shown you earlier applies to ClickUp 4.0 interface. But in the 3.0 interface, the chat is still its own section here, which I prefer, to be honest, rather than having it here below. But I don't know which direction ClickUp is taking. Will they bring it back as a section here? Will they put it below? I don't know yet. We'll see. but hopefully they'll unify the layout so that everyone is on the same UI eventually. And now I want to conclude things with when to use chat, because it's cool, it's a new feature. Now you can communicate in ClickUp, leave messages on tasks, leave comments on documents, and also chat on channels and send DMs to your teammates and even call them. But the thing is, these can create bad practices. And I've talked about that earlier when ClickUp Chat wasn't even around the corner and there was just Slack plus ClickUp, for example, as your stack. I always recommended to keep using discussions in tasks for operational topics. Only talk in chats when it comes to urgencies, or if you want AI answers, or if you have announcements, and you can even screenshot this table. This should be your rule. You can even post it in your ClickUp channel and tell everyone, here are the rules. Only use chat for this, but when it comes to task feedback, keep using the comments. You can obviously use the docs for SOPs, brainstorming, and notes, because ClickUp Note Taker is around. It makes even more sense to have your meeting notes in ClickUp Docs instead of tasks now. So just screenshot this, put it as an announcement in your chat, and tell everyone, keep following these rules. Please keep chatting only for quick questions, urgencies, or announcements, and keep using comments when it comes to operational tasks. Now that's it for ClickUp Chat. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope it clarifies everything with questions, mentions, and how you can interact with your chats. I feel like this is an awesome feature, especially with AI agents coming up. You can turn anything into a task in ClickUp. You can get quick replies of the agent, and you just have a fully integrated system that's saving you money because you don't have to have a Slack subscription anymore, and just like have chats, tasks, docs in one tool. Now, thank you for watching this video. If you want to go further with ClickUp Chat, or if you're on Slack and you want to migrate and the native ClickUp migration tool doesn't work anymore, we're here to help at Upsys. So just book a discovery call with us. We can go through your processes, see if there's Slack channels to turn into ClickUp Chat, see if we need to train your team on how to use it. So just book a call if you're interested. And if you just want to ramp up on ClickUp by yourself, there's ClickUp Master, which is a full-on course on how to create a solid system that's saving you hours in ClickUp. And you can just access it and purchase it through the link down in the description. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. I'll see you around on other videos. And until then, stay productive.